You are only as rich as the country where you come from. And if you look at that statement in perspective, of course, it goes without saying that Nigeria is culture rich and tourism proud. We boast of historical sites that locally and internationally are renowned. You often hear our perspective is our reality. What is your perspective about your country, Nigeria? This is what Binyavanga of blessed memory. He was a Kenyan author and he passed in 2019. But he knows of Nigeria. He says there's no country in the world with the diversity, confidence, talent, and black pride like the great country on the African continent called Nigeria. That's why Francis was on the trail of Onyekachia Tuloma to talk more about tourism side because she's mighty proud of Nigeria, as is Frances.
The drop in global oil price over the past few years has exposed the vulnerabilities of Nigeria's dependence on crude oil revenue. Although much emphasis has been placed on agriculture being the messianic industry, the tourism industry, if revamped, has the potential to attract substantial foreign exchange earnings.
I don't think there's any state in Nigeria that doesn't have a good tourism potential. We have natural tourist sites in Nigeria. Then when you talk about Dubai, for me they are artificial tourist sites. They are more of they are a desert, not more of. When you talk about waterfalls, we have them in Nigeria. When you talk about caves, wooden caves, we have them all in Nigeria. When you talk about beautiful rivers, we have them. Like in Abia, there is a popular river we know as Azumiri Blue River. That river is an ancient river. If you come to Abia, it's naturally blue. So when you are there, you just be seeing those fishes live. It's like the one you see in Disney World Island. So what we are just looking at, if the federal government would just come in, you see that that place will automatically become a tourist site.
Across the globe, tourism has evolved to become one of the fastest growing industries. With an endowed geographical landscape which comprises the coastal beaches, mountains, historical monuments, wildlife, Nigeria should be able to create a niche in global tourism. Unfortunately, this is not the situation. What are the challenges bedeviling the sector?
One, finance. I think that fund is the actual problem we have as a nation. Because to invest in tourism is capital intensive. We talk about the bad roads. Because if you want to get tourists to your state, first of all, you need to make sure that the roads are good. Then you need to make sure that you have a good hotels that will be able to house those people coming in. That's in terms of hospitality. So other social vices, you talk about the security aspect of it, so that if they come, they will still live the way they came in.
The hospitality sector of the tourism industry seems to be the most competitive area, with the presence of highly rated hotels in Nigeria. But the questions begging for answers are, what are the standards of the hotels in Nigeria, and what is the quality of services rendered?
We should have a directory, hotel directory, across the nation, because that will help us know how to reclassify these hotels. Because there are hotels, there are brotels, there are motels. So we really need to identify these buildings according to the standard. If you are not 5 star, you are not 5 star. Sorry. If you are not 4 star, you are not 4 star. So ability for us to do a thorough documentary about the hotels we have in our nation will even give us codes to whatever we are planning to plan in our tourism sector.
There is need for consolidation on successes recorded in flagship tourist events like the Calabar Carnival, which now attracts up to 50,000 visitors annually. This can be further achieved by training professionals such as tour guides, hotel and resort managers, caterers, taxi drivers, security personnel, among others.
My prayer is that soon Nigeria will come to the reality of what tourism actually is, and they will key in. And I pray that any state that is into it, you see how that state progresses. Like when you talk about the south area, you talk about Calabar, they are doing well, but they know what tourism is all about. So you can't talk about Calabar Carnival every year, they host it. So for them, it's an annual event. So you won't tell me now that there's no Nigerian that have not heard of Calabar Carnival. By the time you see all the states start practicing all these things, the old pattern of tourism in Nigeria will just die off.
The capability of the tourism industry in Nigeria to generate sustainable revenue that will revive current earnings from crude oil cannot be overemphasized. Therefore, there is need for synergy at all levels of government in creating an enabling environment for tourism to thrive and attract domestic and international tourists.
We really need the government, both from the apex, the middle, and the the local government sector, to really come up together with a blueprint. All the commissioners of culture and tourism in state need to really know what they are doing.
Traveling for vacation is a thing of beauty, and in spite of the institutional challenges, Nigerians should explore and feel the pulse of other cities and towns. Weekend Deal today is captioned Holiday Culture and Tourism in Nigeria.
Nigeria is culture rich and tourism proud, and every opportunity we get, we should showcase it for what it is worth. And that's how we'll travel down now to Calabar, to Cross River, where we know of the Obudukato Ranch and Tinapa. What is new? Let's learn.
Cross River State is regarded as the home of culture and tourism in Nigeria, naturally endowed with beautiful landscapes and artificially created sites. Among the holiday resorts are the Marina Resort in Calabar, the swelling plateaus of the Obudu Ranch, the Afi Rainforest, the Agbokim and Kwa waterfalls, the spiraling Osbo Calabar River, the Calabar Old Residency Museum, the Calabar Slave Museum, and the Tinapa Business Resort. These were fully maintained and functional within the XY administration of Donald Duke.
During the time of the former governor of Cross River State, Donald Duke, when he saw some potentials of what tourism can bring in a given economy, and incidentally decided to go into rehabilitation and development of existing tourism potentials in the state.
A lot of times we mistake our sites to be what maybe it should be like what it is in Dubai and other countries. But you see, if you have, for instance, a Kwa Falls in the forest, the people that come from the UK, the US, and everywhere coming here, they want to see that waterfall in that natural environment. They want to see our Agbokim waterfalls in its natural environment. We don't need to build a 5-star hotel, clean it up, and make it a complete British-like site.
So many factors that have impacted negatively on the tourism potentials of the state, and the huge financial flow from that sector includes the inconsistency in government policies, vandalization of some of the facilities and infrastructures during the 2020 NSAS protests, COVID-19 outbreak, the fear of insecurity on the part of visitors, and of course, a shift of government's attention from tourism to industrialization.
The sites are still there, but we don't have tourists coming in so much. But Carnival Calabar, you know, by the grace of God, I don't think it will die, because despite the COVID and everything, though we didn't hold it in 2020 and 2021 because of COVID and its variants, but last year, 2022, we held it. It was a huge success, and everything went on normally, and we had tourists, people came, you know. And for instance, the Obudu cattle ranch is still there, people still go. It's just that, well, on the other side of it, the cable car is not functional that like it used to function.
I can't really, if you want to like go deep, like way back, you cannot compare like the progress of the place right now to how it was before. But people still come around, and it's still fun to come around and chill for a bit.
It was like a full-grown resort, like how a resort was supposed to be. It was all nice. Everything was working. Boat cruise, everything. The eatery, cinema was also there. But now there's no cinema at all.
Although some of the facilities in the holiday resorts are not in their full capacity of service, some businesses still operate within them, and the resorts receive periodic renovation. The Calabar Slave Museum, located by the brackish water of the Calabar River, still houses the historic relics of the slave trade. Tourists and business owners at some of the sites want to see a turnaround of the holiday resort.
I feel like if there is a proper management, if there is a like good management installed around the vicinities, definitely going to be booming again.
And they also have to development the marina resort. They'll bring back the children playground and bring things that is going to make people come back.
It is believed that tourism will continue to act as a cash cow for Cross River State, especially with the sustenance of the annual Ekpe Festival and the Carnival Calabar. All stakeholders are expected to work in synergy to drive the industry.
Richly vibrant historical sites in Nigeria, and there's talk about maintenance. Some say that partnerships, especially the PPP, will work well in restoring and maintaining these sites so that we can generate revenue for Nigeria and everyone will be there happier for it. We enjoy it locally and foreigners continue to troop in to enjoy what we have on show. You are watching Weekendal. Our program is interactive. We loved when we heard from you yesterday, as we often do. Do start to send in your messages so we can share them and your experiences too. Where have you visited? How do you spend your holidays? Do you travel with family? What sites really piques your curiosity and you would love to visit it perhaps with your family or with your friends sometime this year? During the week, we spent some time with Otumba Segun Roshewe. That's the Director General of the National Council of Arts and Culture and a former Director General of the Nigerian Tourism Development Corporation, now NTA. Of course, you do know that conversation for sure is riveting. Let's watch it. Holiday culture and tourism in Nigeria, they are big deals. But more often than not, some people neglect to take holidays or vacation where necessary. You look very relaxed. Someone tells me that every now and again you take time to unwind and relax with a holiday.
Yes, it's always very important to have a time for everything in life. There's time to work. And holidaying is a therapy, which most Africans have not keyed into. You know, the body works like an engine, and you need a time to change the engine oil. You need a time to check the alignment. You need a time to check the entire body movement. For instance, some doctors will even tell you, leave your comfort zone and go on holiday in a different place. Now, a lot of Africans do not understand that shift and that movement. The shift and the movement is for you to go to a new environment. It helps to reduce tension. It helps to reduce appointment. It helps to reduce even family contacts. So you have enough time to relax, think, and get some momentum of good health returning to you. So holiday is part of good living and it's very important, recommended for everyone.
Interesting. That's so super. It's something we should continue to inculcate in our fellow Nigerians. Let's hit the ground running. If we're talking about holidays, some people say, I don't have enough money. They are thinking of going outside our shores. But we know that Nigeria is culture rich and tourism proud. We have so many destinations. Were you to give somebody now who wants to go relax and unwind a place to really go and enjoy themselves within an appreciable financial limit, not something too exorbitant, where would your destination choice be?
I would take Plateau State as an example for obvious reasons. The weather. Do you know that Nigerians travel abroad, some because of weather? That weather is right there in Jos. Some Nigerians travel for what we call health tourism, acupuncture tourism, and all these things are available, but they don't know there's a particular leaf that is very good for malaria, typhoid, etc. They are all over the streets in Maiduguri. So in the early days, in our 50s, 40s, if you need some particular therapy, you travel to some part of the country where you take what they call the natural herbs. It's called Agbo in Yoruba. And people come back and they are happy and everything is okay. So, but recently, unfortunately, because of foreign culture, everybody wants to travel abroad. Now, almost all the airlines in the world fly to Nigeria and they are fully booked. So we must build a culture of believing in our own, patronizing our own, building our own. If you need a better future, you must start to build from today for that greater future. So, coming back to your question proper, I can tell you that there is no state in Nigeria you travel to, you don't find a unique brand. But also, every state has their brand depending on the time of the holiday. You have Oshun Oshogbo, you have Arugu Fishing Festival, you have the Ijele Festival in Anambra, the Igbo Masquerade. You have, I can go on and on.
As we are now, being someone who's an expert in tourism, knowing the size as well as its development, where are we now?
Well, I want to thank you for that very inciting question. About 8 years ago, I took all commissioners of culture and tourism in Nigeria. We went to South Africa. Now, when we got to South Africa, we found out that the strength of their tourism is their culture. Period. There's no non-negotiable. They so believe in their culture. So what they sell for their tourism is their culture. Now, by the grace of God, I'm discussing with the Chinese ambassador here now. You see, I want to take all the commissioners to China. What I want to develop is a unique brand for Nigeria. I want to bring in 37 brand cultural strategy of showcasing Nigeria to the world. Each state will have a brand. Now, if a state brand, let's give example, is toothpicks. The other state is tissue papers. This state we support with toothpaste. This state we support with, like that. That's how they run it all over the world. A synergy, absolutely. If a state is going to produce this, there's machine to produce everything in the world now. So, if we do that, we now have created 37 brands of Nigeria. Proudly Nigeria. Now, if we sit down and everybody is in the caucus of his state and think you want to develop culture and tourism, it's a big mistake. This is an international interactive brand platform. In this sector, training is key. Yeah, training. You have to train all the officers.
To understand our culture?
No, to understand how to sell the culture. For instance, we have what we call tour guides. Tour guides in other parts of the world are doing very well because for every tourist that come, a tour guide makes some certain amount of money. Government alone cannot employ everybody.
Because I know, Tumba, you have been on this tourism culture synergy for more than 2 decades. Where, as we are now, have we gone as far as you would have expected?
Well, you see, the fundamental disconnect is that most countries in Africa see culture separate from tourism. That's the disconnect. Other parts of the countries now, they match culture and tourism together. The simple job of tourism is to market and promote. Culture is the brand identity you develop for a people, which tourism will take to market. I will give you one quick example now. Nigerians do carnivals. They now brand and their costumes to look like Europe. The people coming don't want to see that. They want to see the raw animal skin.
A unique
Yes,
sound.
the Jarawas in Plateau. If you go to Ekiti, they have one of the best costumes. People that look like they're going to the war front. I mean, those are what they want to see. Today, they sell amala in India as one of their major foodstuff now.
Interesting.
I introduced amala to the Indians in London. Yes. We were in World Travel Market and I introduced amala. And 2 Indians took it and they were very happy. From there, they asked for the content of the amala and they took it to their country.
Let's go to Lagos. I know you are so familiar with Lagos.
Yeah.
It's home to you.
Yeah.
Let us look at the tourism potentials and how we have highlighted them to the benefit of not just the center of excellence, but for Nigeria as a whole.
Lagos is a unique brand. Unfortunately, we have not been able to see a state that has tourism brand as a pride of Nigeria. You know, we must get to a state that, okay, I'll give you this, will make it easier for you to understand. If you go to play football outside Nigeria and somebody score a goal, nobody asks you from which local government that person is from or which state. No, Nigeria has just scored a goal. Now, if Lagos have one of the best brands, every part of Nigeria, we join hands with them. There was a time I was telling our people, let us give December to Lagos State. Lagos State received the highest number of tourists in the whole of Africa. Yes, the highest number of tourists.
Annually?
Yeah. All the major airlines in the world fly into Lagos. So I did what we call TSA, Tourism Satellite Account. Now, from TSA, you can identify how many tourists come into a system, what is their spending pattern in that system. So we have been able to make a very good impact with Lagos State. Don't forget again, one of the first story buildings in Africa is in Lagos. Lagos have the longest beach in Africa. If you go to South Africa, any small beach, they reserve the land for hotel, for resorts, etc. Because if you check it into a hotel abroad, you don't pay the same room rate with somebody whose side view is within the hotel from the beach. Really? Yeah, you pay. You pay for staying because they believe staying and looking at that beach is a therapy on its own. These are a lot of things we've not really come to understand. So, culture, tourism, export promotion, investment promotion must come. This is the strategy Dubai is using.
But how long will it take for us to latch on? It's been a while.
Yeah, we just have to sit down and get it right. For instance, if you go to Dubai today, every company producing wristwatch, they will send a marketing team to the airport. Yes. As you are landing, somebody will come and offer you a free wristwatch and say, please visit our factory. If you make a mistake and visit that factory, they'll give you a ridiculous price.
But let's go to Cross River State.
Yeah.
I know you've been there,
Yeah.
time without number. Talk about Tinapa, talk about Obudu. Obudu is a household name, but many people just know it by mouth. They've not been opportune to visit because everybody says it's so expensive. Must tourism be so expensive for us who are Nigerians to benefit? Because we really need to enjoy what we have before we now invite outsiders. Or oughtn't it to be so? Should it be the other way around?
You see, the Cross River people must apologize to Donald Duke. I'm being honest with you. Donald Duke slept, had a dream. Donald Duke had a unique brand for tourism, which is first of its kind in the history of Africa. When Donald Duke was the governor, I was the secretary of the tourism committee. Yes. When we went with President Olusegun Obasanjo to Trinidad and Tobago, I was in the team with Donald Duke. You see, Donald Duke had a dream, but unfortunately, people around him were awake when the dream was emancipating. Yes. That is the truth you must hear from me today. They didn't. In fact, they saw Donald Duke as somebody who has mental case. I made a statement then. I said, can all Nigerians come together? Let us see Cross River as our own Dubai. Because Donald Duke has already set the template. Obudu Cattle Ranch. Donald Duke brought cable cars.
Just like in South Africa.
Yeah, which was the first of its kind in Nigeria. I remember vividly well that all top government functionaries, their retreat was at Obudu. Today, as we are talking, that same Obudu Cattle Ranch is a sorry saw and a shadow of itself to the embarrassment of every Nigerian, because it will have made a difference. For me, in other climes, we need to sit down with Donald Duke, extract those positive volumes in him that could make a change. If somebody is better than you, accept it, learn from him, take the best out of him, and make an impact. And that's how they work.
So we need to think more Nigeria and less of ourselves.
Absolutely.
Before we wrap up, can we touch base in Kaduna? What makes Kaduna unique in terms of tourism potentials?
You see, Kaduna is absolutely a unique town. Kaduna, I think Kaduna and Lagos, Jos, Port Harcourt, Kano, these five, they have a unique, they accept everybody. Kaduna also have that quality. But you see, we have an issue. We must invoke the spirit of swapped analysis, strength, weaknesses, opportunity, and threats. What are the strengths of Kaduna? May not be the strengths of Port Harcourt. But we make one mistake. We carry the same strategy for every state. It doesn't work that way. I have tried to enlighten Nigerians, educate our people. What you take to Jos today, you cannot take it to Port Harcourt. What you take to Kano, you cannot take it to Kaduna. You must identify each of these states, their strengths, their weaknesses, their opportunities, and their threats.
Okay, let's go national now. Many Nigerians, if you tell them holiday, they are saving to go to, like you have mentioned often, they're not even thinking Senegal, Tanzania, Gambia, or Ghana. They are thinking Dubai, London, America. To them, it's a status symbol. If I've not gone there, I've not begun to enjoy my life. What will begin to make us look inwards? Let's wrap up with this analysis.
When I took all the commissioners to South Africa, the then Commissioner of Culture and Tourism of Kano State, Alhaji Yakasai, when we left Pretoria and we got to where Mandela's house is, I remember the name of the place, he was shocked to see that Mandela's house is just a simple building. And people were running to go and see, take pictures there and everything. And the man screamed, Otumba, Aminu Kano's house in Kano is bigger than this, better than this. I'm going back home to market. Sometimes we develop individuals. We must start to develop the institutions. That is what will make the difference.
Talking about tourism and culture, the sky is not our limit, it's our takeoff point. Thank you for this chat, Otumba Segun Rushowe, Director General, National Council of Arts and Culture. Always a pleasure to chat with you on Weekend Deal and elsewhere. You're watching Weekend Deal. A break beckons. We urge you to stay with us. Don't go anywhere. There's more to come. I was just going through some of your messages. Wow. People are really touring the nation and you're having fun with your family and friends. Let me just take one message now for my friend Matthew Elisha from Kaduna. Matthew says he wants us to come visit River Wonderful. He says it's between Madakia and Kafanchan. He said just like the name you hear and it implies, the best thing you can imagine, that's what River Wonderful is. Everyone says that tourism can be the next oil, for Nigeria if well managed and if the synergies are in tandem with our progressive thought. But that will be when we get to talk to our guest. For now, we are going to Ado Ekiti, Ikogosi Springs. What else is there? Please share.
Ekiti, the land of the rolling hill, is endowed with spectacular landscape and abundant tourist sites, from the breathtaking Ezekiel through the beautiful Arinita waterfalls to Orele Rocky Mountain. Ekiti has in its domain quality holiday resort that can engender economic prosperity for the state.
Every town and village in Ekiti is either beneath a rock, a big rock, or by beside a big mountain. And there are so many people around the world who have not seen this kind of landscape before. So it's unique in that aspect. Then we also think about the very many places to visit. There's an old one that all of us, that the world knows already. That is a Ikogosi warm spring. Ikogosi warm spring has been there for a very long time. I'm proud to say that that's where I did my honeymoon in 1986.
While some states boast of crude oil and other mineral resources, Ekiti boasts of cultural monuments and natural endowments. The Yoruba god of iron, Ogun, has its site in Ire, where everyone believes to be his own. This place is gradually attracting tourists and the necessary attention.
Ekiti State is blessed with so many man-made and natural resorts. We have the man-made, such as the Fajuyi Park. It's a monument, it's a park. We have the natural ones like the Arinita Waterfall. We have the Ikogosi. We have a lot of hills and mountains that have been converted into places for recreation. Ekiti, today we have a lot of people going on mountain hiking, and other expeditions like that. So it is quite blessed with a lot of them.
Attention is being given to Abanijoni Cave, one of its kind in Africa. This is a cave with natural amphitheater that can accommodate well over 200 people. The natural seats, made of rocks, are naturally set out and arranged in beautiful columns. From time to time, tourist troops to the cave to behold one of the wonders of nature.
We have the Abanijoni Hills just there in there, and it has an amphitheater that can accommodate 250 people seated on natural seat, on nature's seat, that's seated on stones, and it's an amphitheater. In that theater, you can have weddings, you can celebrate your birthday parties. The only thing we need is, how do we get to the top? How do we get to the cave? And that's why, if we have a partnership with the state government and that has the vision for it, it's a good resort center.
Ikogose, the land of the warm spring, has been popular for quite a while. In fact, many people outside Ekiti State know of Ikogose as the main holiday resort in Ekiti, oblivious of the fact that several spectacular holiday resorts abound in the state. The government of Ekiti State, in partnership with the private sector, has developed Ikogose to a level that is attractive to tourists.
The government of the day is really doing its best concerning this recreation center, like that of Ikogose and Fajuyi Park, and it's even partnering with the private sectors.
Anrita Waterfall is a beauty to behold, attracting both young and old to its cool breeze. Although the government of Ekiti State, through the Ministry of Arts, Culture and Tourism, and some private individuals and companies, have been taking good steps towards developing as many holiday resorts in Ekiti as possible. More still need to be done on the enormous cultural and tourism potentials.
You're watching Weekend Deal. We just touched down from Ado Ekiti, where we saw the Ikogose Springs and other destinations where you can visit. Everyone is talking about partnerships that can progress these sites and make them more appreciable, so that we can retain the original essence for which they were set up. Like when we say we should really see springs, we should see people, greenery. There should be sites we should come and visit. And that's why we're talking with someone who can tell us the when, the why, and the where. We're talking with Chief Biodun Odusonwo. He's the president of the Institute for Tourism Professionals in Nigeria. It's great to have you with us on Weekend Deal today.
Thank you very much.
We've been talking tourism now for 2 days. Holiday culture yesterday, and Nigerians traveling. And today, let's get to know the meaty matter. They say tourism is the next oil when properly managed. We've been hearing that for over a decade. When? You are the who. So when is the when? This is the place. What is happening?
Well, tourism need to be properly.
Hello and welcome first.
Hello and welcome. Thank you very much for having me. As he has said, I'm the national president of the Institute for Tourism Professionals of Nigeria. We are the professional arm of the industry. We are there to ensure that the right skills, right professionalism is brought into the industry. Tourism is a business. For those who are in it, they need to have some collaborative activities. There is no single provider that has gotten all what it takes in the life journey of a tourist. Tourism is a multidimensional activities, whereby we have those who actually will convey, for example, the passenger, get a ticket, you got to buy a ticket from travel agency or online. When you're traveling, we also now need to, for example, get conveyed to the airport. When you get to the airport, you'll be administered by those who are those on the staff at the check-in counter. After that, you board the plane, and then boarding the plane, you'll be received there. Then from the airport, we have taxi operators, bus operators at the airport. From the airport, you now go onto your hotel, for example. From the hotel, we now go on to other activities.
It's a process.
It's a process. Therefore, and in tourism, a bad experience from one of those key providers of services can actually tarnish or mar the experience of all other competent persons that have served you very, very well. So therefore, in order for tourism to thrive, there needs to be a synergy between all these key operators and service providers within the tourism value chain. Synergy can be brought in by the realization of those who are operating tourism. Yes, tourism is a business, but people operate in silos. You need to realize in tourism, your success is dependent on the activities of other person.
But how are you making the tourism sites and destinations attractive for us?
Making them attractive is dependent on a number of factors. Tourism sites are more or less within the locality of a particular area. It is the responsibility of those within the area of tourism to ensure that such sites are being maintained and developed, which require the intervention of the government of that particular state. Tourism is actually the prerogative of the state to ensure that those assets are being maintained. All laws to do with tourism are to be passed by the state.
I know that your body must have members nationwide.
Yes.
When you gather and sit down and you see a program such as this, like Weekend Deal, showcasing since yesterday these awesome sites, and almost everyone is saying we need more partnership, we need more fund, we need to synergize. We now begin to wonder, what have you been doing alongside your members?
Well, our members are the practitioners in the industry. What we're now going to be doing, which we have advocated, is just what we call a twinning process, whereby a state can twin with another state.
Twinning?
Yes. We can have the twinning, whereby they can more or less collaborate. So listen, let's say Taraba with Oyo State. They are looking to what are available within Taraba State, tourism attraction within Taraba State. Similarly, what are available within Oyo State. Then we now have this more or less state travels. Now, traveling, as I've said earlier, involves so many things. For example, we have those, if you look into what happened during election, ANEC, massive, but they don't have the transportation. So now we have to work and collaborate with those who can provide the logistics.
Collaboration is key.
Is the key there. So now, if you now want to say, well, we have the tourism sites, we need people, then they have to collaborate with those who are providing transportation services, those who are providing food, security, all these things actually generate money.
We're talking with Chief Odusonwo. Yes, he has been in this tourism business. He called it a business, but for us who are going to partake, it's an experience of a lifetime and a journey into the best experiences we can hope to encounter. We're talking about maintenance culture. I was telling you about Jos Rayfield, we're there in the early 2000s, and they were able to go again in 2019 and 2020. And the disparity between what we saw about 18, 19 years ago and what we saw when we went there, again, it was huge. The beauty is there, but the maintenance of things that attract people, it doesn't seem, is it our DNA? What's with maintenance?
Well, maintenance culture generally, to some extent, is not as good as it should be. When some of these new sites, the built sites are being done, or those who are natural, what we need to start with is a sense of ownership as far as the locals are concerned. We should start with education, let them realize that this particular endowment, this particular huge hotel situated in your area is for you to actually own somehow. When you take ownership of those things, then you are there to defend and protect it. So therefore, we need to start by encouraging people, this thing is here, it's going to bring in value, it's going to bring employment, it's going to bring in additional activities to your state or to your particular area. When they just say, them again. No, we need to start with that. When people actually feel this is part of me, then they will strive to protect it. There's work to be done by the local chiefs, kings, and those in the area that this particular hotel being sited there is going to make people to start coming in to your place. And people not coming to your area, we are there to promote your local artifacts. People need to know what are actually unique or peculiar about your area, you need to see that even, you see, tourism has got motivated employment opportunity for people. Room for cleaners, security guard, cooks, chefs.
I love this area that we're delving into. When we know we own it, when we know we'll benefit from it, we will protect it and grow it.
Yes, right.
Now, there's much talk about government. Everyone agrees that government can do everything, especially tourism. And there's much talk about private sector, emergence, marriage, synergy, living together, like you have said.
Yeah.
The private sector must come and live with us in our tourism development in Nigeria. How ready are they to key in?
In so many businesses in Nigeria, there is too much presence of government. There's so much doing. Yes, government need to set the parameters. You see, when people say we are the regulators, I don't particularly enjoy that word. There are be to facilitate, to encourage, set the guidelines. But then there are so much so with we are the regulators. So you are not there to regulate. You are there to regulate, but you're more to encourage because people actually committed their money, their funds to these business endeavors. They're taking loans. Okay. If you are there, therefore, because the government want to come there and just to regulate, set standard. Okay. However, support them.
Okay. Vivian from Warri in Delta State says she loves tourism. That's why she's enjoying the program so much today. She said tourism and travel are hand in hand, and that traveling is education in itself, that she does it often in Lagos. She'll take time off her home and travel to another part of Lagos. And when she can, she brings the information to her classroom for her students to learn. There's a long one here from Akwa Ibom State, but let me hear you make your comments on what we have shared.
Yes,
so
you
far.
see, if you look into tourism, we have what you call a spillover effect of tourism. Now, if you look at the typical, say for example, hotel, to be a hotel, you need the bricklayers, consultants, accountants, builders. People are going to supply furnitures to the hotel. People are going to maintain those furnitures and furnishings as well. Tourism actually is the single largest employer across the board. If you're looking at promoting youth employment, it's tourism. If you're looking at promoting female, with the gender equality and balance, it's tourism. Now, even it doesn't matter the policy of the government, whether you are pro-agric, tourism consume at least 50% of all our agri-produce. Because part of the value of tourism is the eateries and so on. They buy food regularly. So it doesn't matter what agenda of the government, tourism it is.
It's a win-win.
It is a win-win situation.
So is this marriages now? Like you say, people don't want to wear the ring, but they don't mind living together.
That's right.
As far as the partnership will work.
There therefore need to be a better understanding that enough.
By who now? Who
by
lacks
the understanding by the operators within tourism value chain.
Okay.
Those with hotels, those with transportation, those with sites, those with security. They need to more or less have understanding to the benefit of tourism. I'll give an example. I went to meet with the immigration service as part of tourism, understood that they can understand tourism. I said to them, look, yes, it's good for you to want to maintain security. Yes, everybody's all our interest there. But then you have to be tourism aware so that when people come in, they need to be well received. Go through the processes. But they need to feel welcome from the airport. If, for example, I get to the airport...
That's where training and retraining comes in.
Yes, when I get to the airport as a visitor, I'm well received. Say, these are lovely people.
Already, you've opened a wonderful album of great memories for that person. But we'll talk more on that. I know, you know your state.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you visit it often?
Well, coincidentally, I'm a chief of your state. I'm an
wow. So tell us something that will interest us. Were I to visit Ibadan or your state today, where should I just go to?
In Oyo State, we have the old Oyo Park.
It's a gamut of fun, excitement,
right, yes,
and tourist potentials.
Yes,
well, your chief is here. So let's go together to see what Oyo State is going to put on show for us today.
All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. This opened man's imagination to ways and how to reduce tension after engaging in a very vigorous work. One of the ways to ease tension, according to experts, is through recreation. This can be achieved by visiting parks, holiday resorts, and other tourist centers.
Holiday resort is all about looking for a place to relax and to receive fresh air, especially bringing young people out for them to see variety of things for themselves and meeting new people, new friends, exchanging contacts. It really helps a lot for our young people to really grow in the journey of life.
Ibadan, as Spaceta, has some holiday resorts where people can visit and while away their time. Places like Ilaji Resort, Zoological Garden, University of Ibadan, Boas Tower Okeare, and Agodi Garden, just to mention but a few. These resorts accommodate more people who want to recreate and make themselves happy during holidays and leisure.
I've been hearing about Boas Tower for a while, since last year or last 2 years, but I decided that today, let me just take a look at what everyone is talking about. So I just want to climb the tower and see. I hear it's the highest point in Ibadan. I want to climb the tower and see the whole of Ibadan from up there, from a high vantage point, and just take it all in. Like, I like the city. I've been here for a while, so I just want to take this experience.
The aim of setting up such an establishment is to afford people the opportunity of letting out steam. When children come here, they love this place, and it affords them an exposure to other things they may not be able to get in their homes. Just you go out and relax and enjoy yourself.
People with depression, people that have some that are under duress or that are under pressure, things like that, they can come here and have an atmosphere that enhance their thinking ability, that they can ease off their stress and every other thing that's disturbing them.
A lot of people are facing a lot of stress since outside there, especially what we have experienced in this cashless policy of a thing, the way it has affected people going to the bank to queue here and there, and after everything you don't have even the money you have saved. So there is need for you to look for a calm area to really sit down. There will be no need for people to be committing suicide here and there, as it is rampant in the society today.
It is expected to experience wears and tears after usage for a long period of time for some of the holiday resorts. Some fun seekers who visit regularly bear their minds.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it's beautiful, something as ancient as this. But I feel that the maintenance culture is not really there. Like, this place is actually a very good site, if only they can input more money into it to make it more attractive for people. To be cool, like as it is now. We just came in here, it's not even up to 30 minutes. I'm already going because there's nothing much to say.
I think I have been visiting this place for over 3 or 4 years now, I think. And then it was very, very okay than this. So as at last year, December till date, it has gotten so worse. There's no much renovation. At least we expected it to be more beautiful.
This setup here is advantageous in the sense that if they improve on it, they will get more revenue accruing to the sales pocket here.
It is a joint effort in making all these existing and other offspring holiday resorts to continue to be relevant in every area, so as to attract both local and foreign tourists in order to boost the economy for the upliftment of the nation.
Abiodun Odusanwo is here. He will take whatever we say here to his friends in Oyo State and share with them that, we enjoyed the bounty they shared, but we also heard the voice of the people who were saying maintenance, beauty, but low-key maintenance. So they are asking for more. Chief Odusanwo, let's take it from there.
We need to have a tourism education. generally within schools, within the media as well, people to be educated as to the importance of tourism to their lives, to our lives, to the economy, to our culture. It is when we realize this importance of tourism to our lives, then begin to protect all those things. We have to begin to value all those tourism assets. Tourism is everybody's business.
But those people who are going to teach in the classrooms now in the media, they are for the future. We need to have a coordinated approach now for those who are managing it now, so that we, with our knowledge, or our children, will now come and marry what they have learned to what's already existing.
Yes, that's where NTDA comes in, and also NAOTO. They too have their law passed as well. NAOTO is there to increase the capacity, the manpower arm of the sector. So therefore, I'm sure the DG of NAOTO, Alhaji Kangewa, is a fellow of my institute. We now go out with this law now to ensure that the training is
to make magic,
to add value, to upscale the level of competence people
and
have
it has to be there at a galvanized pace.
Yes, that's right.
If we are saying that revenue, there's a lot of GDP, there's a lot of greatness, financial aspect coming from this tourism. There's hardly time to waste, is there?
Tourism work is half done. Everybody knows tourism can be useful. They like it.
Okay,
so
I will just take one message before we sign off, because this guy sent this quite a while ago, and he's reminded me that let Chief talk on what I want to share. So he says that Nigeria has limitless resources and great tourism potentials. He says, do we have a country tourism master plan?
Yes,
is there a tourism master plan for Nigeria? And how do we marry this with sustainable investment so that our enterprise will be recognized locally and internationally? He means the tourism sites. Then he says, how many tourism ministries in Nigeria have evolved a tourism circuit that will help the potential tourist identify the destinations, attractions, tour guide facilities, and organizations, as well as transport system, accommodation, and facilitators, and those who can cater with a different variety of cuisine in Nigeria. He's Umfong Esang, of the Marketing and Logistics Department, Ministry of Culture and Tourism, Uyo in Akwa Ibom.
Yes,
your final words,
yes,
Chief,
yes,
of this song.
What we need to do, one, is to ensure that those who are leading tourism, both at state and federal level, are competent persons. If you have a professionals leading, they will lead professionally. Number two, we need to ensure that now that we have the two laws there now, we have to talk about tourism master plan. Yes, there's a national tourism master plan for Nigeria, which was actually done by the help of the World Bank. We now need to cascade this national tourism plan to state tourism plan because everything is unique.
We have less than 1 minute, Chief.
So therefore, tourism is our business. We all have to ensure that we support tourism, we protect our endowments, and then we develop our competencies, because tourism brings money to the country.
Thank you very much, Ifabiodo Odusonwo, the president for the Institute for Tourism Professionals of Nigeria. Great chatting with you. We have come to learn that tourism is not a destination, but it's an experience. And it can be a lifelong one for you and for all of us here, especially if all hands are on deck. Chief Odusonwo has said that at the state level, all those who handle tourism issues should be well trained and understand the spectacular concept that tourism is and the gains and revenue it can bring for Nigeria. For you who have been watching and participating, we thank you. And we urge you to join us to do it again next week. And from all of us here, it's bye-bye. God bless you.